Hi everyone, it's Erin from EB Mixed Media. Today I am going to be working to create some beautiful background paper using these Paul Rubens extra large watercolor pans. So let's get started. These are 90 grams of watercolor paint, which is the equivalent of 16 regular pans. And they come in a ceramic pan or tray. Which is really nice. So when you're done with them, you have a nice ceramic dish that you can use for something else as a palette or whatever you wish. These are single pigment paints and they are artist grade. Having a little trouble here getting it out of the box for some reason. There it goes. Maybe. But they're nice and snug, so when they're shipping, they're not going to get broken. Today, I'm working with these three colors. I've got Prussian Blue, Lemon Yellow, and Chinese Red. I'm going to be using a large flat brush. It's not a watercolor brush. It's just an inexpensive paintbrush. These pans are nice and large, so you can use a good-sized brush for this project. I've got this really large ceramic tray here. I purchased that at a Home Goods, and I think you can see there along the left side, it is just slightly warped, and that's why it was on sale at Home Goods, and I got it for a really cheap price. So I'm going to use that as my palette. I'm going to start with my spray bottle and spray right onto these pans to get the paint damp. I've got my big brush and a clean jar of water, and I'm just going to start pulling up some color and mixing it on my palette. You can see how really rich and bright and pigmented that Chinese red is. It's a really pretty color. I'm adding some water to get a nice pool here. And I'm going to rinse this off. I'd probably be better served if I had 2 jars of water, one clean one and one to rinse in, but I didn't think of that and I'm too lazy to fix it now. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of red paint there that I've gotten, or red water, tinted water in the yellow. But now I'll put some yellow down as well. It's fun working on this ginormous ceramic palette and making these big, huge puddles of paint. Again, the color is super pigmented, really bright. And I chose these 3 colors because you can pretty much mix any other color from these 3 primary colors. And now I'm going to mix up some Prussian Blue. This color is such a pretty color, really lovely. So let's get a nice big pool of that on the palette as well. And now I'm going to start sort of mixing some other colors. So I'm moving some of that Prussian Blue, and I'm going to add some of the Chinese Red, and I'm going to try to get a nice purple out of this. It still looks a little blue, but add a little more red to it and see what I can come up with. And now I'm going to do kind of a turquoise or teal color using the Prussian Blue, and I'll add a bit of the lemon yellow here. I can't tell you how fun it is to work so large here. Got too much yellow there. This is a little bit too green for my taste. That's better, I think. Much better. And now I'm going for another purple or burgundy, and I'm gonna take from that teal color that I just made and get more of a burgundy pink. Next, I'm working with a piece of 11 by 14 mixed media paper, and I have this amazing stencil. It's Elizabeth St. Hilaire. It's from her Art Nouveau collection, and this is the Passion Flower stencil at Joggles. And I'm also using some light and fluffy modeling paste, which is from the Crafter's Workshop. And I'm using the modeling paste. I'm going to apply it onto the mixed media paper using a palette knife. And this stuff is just super fluffy, just like the name. It's light, it's not super thick, and I've really enjoyed using this. It's like marshmallow whip. This is a really delicate stencil, so this is a bit of a chore because it does pull up and move easily if you catch the palette knife on the stencil. It could be helpful to tape the stencil down. I think when I'm moving the palette knife up and to the right, I'm getting the best application there. So this can take some time, but just go slowly and carefully. And you're going to want to cover your entire page with the stencil. You certainly don't need to use a stencil this large, but it does make it go a little bit more quickly. You will want to wash off your stencil immediately before that modeling paste dries. So my modeling paste now is completely dry, and I'm going to use my spray bottle to spray right over the top of the paper and get it damp so that the watercolor moves around more freely on the paper. And I'm just going to start brushing this color on in a very random way. I think I want the bulk of my base to be the teal color. So I'm going to put that on fairly liberally, and then I'll start adding in some of these purples and mauves and burgundies. And I'm sort of mixing on the page as I go because there is water on the page. And so the two colors are mixing together to create even a third color right on the page. Now I'll get some of that brighter burgundy color. And I'm going to add some more spray some more water on there as well to get the paint moving. And I just am trying to make sure that my colors are kind of equally distributed across the page and not just appearing in one place. Found myself running out of the blue already, or the teal, so I'm mixing up a little bit more of that. And I think that's actually a little bit darker than the original, so that's adding yet just another interesting color to the page. What's great about this is the modeling paste, those raised ridges of the modeling paste seem to hold a little more color than the rest of the paper, and so you do really see the design of the stencil come out as you add the watercolor to it. And I'm just making sure all the white is covered at this point on the edges. Going over it again with some water. That'll allow me to blend even a little bit more. Trying to put a little bit darker down in this corner. And that's really all there is to it. Now I'm taking some of my Pearl X powdered pigment in Sparkle Gold. This is a pigment powder, and I'm using a fan brush, and I'm just going to tap that brush and spread some of that powder across the page in random places. And this is just going to give me a nice glamorous shimmer spot of gold onto this very fancy stencil that's from a very glamorous era, that Art Deco, Art Nouveau era of the 1920s. And I'm just going to sort of spread out that gold a little bit with my finger. And keep in mind, I did not dry this before I laid down the powder. So that powder will react with the water that's on the page. And now I'm blow drying it, and you can see that the air from the dryer is sort of pushing some of that paint around again and giving another really cool effect. And it's going to dry much lighter than it went on. So here's our final piece of paper. I think it turned out really well. I love the colors, the jewel tones, the shimmer. It's just a really nice background paper that can be used in future projects. And I'm just really happy with how it turned out. I'd also like to thank Paul Rubens Art for sending me these extra large watercolor pans. They were really fun to work with and play with, and I thought the colors were really bright and pretty and easy to mix. That's it for me today. I'll be back again with another video soon, and you can always find me on Instagram at ebmixedmedia. Bye!